let's talk about the top sexiest fragrances in the game. Okay, so just a disclaimer before we get into this list. The idea with sexiness is really cored and sourced from confidence, right? So, when someone's saying it's sexy, it's really this person, man or woman, who has this level of confidence in every aspect, right? So they're confident in their features, they're confident in their way that they look, the way that they speak, and there's tons of videos on YouTube that will discuss all of this. So I'm saying, you're not going to get a clean up in aisle 3, but you're just trying to figure out, everything that puts the person together, right? So you're talking about your intonation, your inflection, the way that you dress, the way that you speak to people, the charisma that you have, the way that you take care of your clothes, the shoes that you wear, if you accessorize with a watch, all of those things will come together and make someone sexy, right? So at the core of it is really, we're talking about confidence, and it didn't exude sexiness from there as well. So fragrance, honestly, is an accessory. It really enhances. It's just another tool in your arsenal to increase your confidence and to increase your sexiness or sex appeal. I'm going to get into a couple of fragrances that I think are incredible, that work really well for building your confidence, to building that sex appeal, that makes you attractive, that does all of those, it has all of those right elements, right? Now, with my list, what I'm going to say is that I try to vary it a bit so that it's not always the same situation, right? We're not always thinking that you're going to be always sexy at night, in the evening, dressed up on a date, right? We want to be sexy for the rest of the day as well, right? We want to be sexy during the day. We want to be sexy maybe at work. We want to be, or confident. I would rather say confident during those times as well, right? So the first fragrance that I want to share with you is that if you're thinking about, this is generally for somebody at work, maybe middle management or higher management, and you don't want to smell like everybody else. Even if you're entry level, I think this is really a confidence booster. I think it really wears well with a suit or even with a vest. It's a great fragrance in terms of projection, longevity, and just in terms of price, right? So even if you're on a budget, this is a fantastic choice. This is Bentley for Men Absolute. Lots of woods, and it gives you that idea of going out into a forest. Lots of cedar in here. I think this is reminiscent of Gucci Pour Homme 1, and it's done by the same perfumer, just bottled differently. Can't go wrong with Bentley for Men Absolute. So number 2 on our list is a staple within the fragrance community for good reason, right? Because it really ticks off all the boxes. It does what you need. And I would say that you can pretty much wear this any time of the year, but it works best within the evening, during the night. This is something which will get you compliments. When they released the original one, everyone complained that the longevity, projection, performance really was terrible, but Dolce Gabbana came through and they released Dolce Gabbana the 1 EDP, right? So very sweet, very nice. It's really this interesting fragrance of a lot of elements that really attracts people towards you and gets you tons of compliments. You can wear this in any type of situation. I would say if you're going to wear this during the day, think about spraying it maybe right after your shower as opposed to right before you leave the house, because the mid and the dry down will work well during the day. The opening might be a little bit too harsh for people during the day, right? In the evening, at night, I think it's perfectly fine. Okay, so number 3, you have to forgive me because I don't know where my actual bottle is. This is my backup, which I have not opened yet, and there's not much to say about this. It's in the name. This is La Nuit de l'Homme, the Night of the Man. Honestly, cardamom, I mean, look, I don't have to describe this fragrance to you. If you don't have this fragrance, this is a 4-digit batch, I believe. If you don't have this, it's been reformulated, but honestly, you know, there's not much you can do if you can't find a 2010 version or later. If you are looking for La Nuit de l'Homme, if you're in Canada, check out Shoppers, because you never know. See, you never know what you might find, right? So listen, all I'm saying is, right, you never know what you might find. So if you're in Canada, check out Shoppers. If you can find an older version, good on you, get the older version. If you cannot, then get the new one, but overspray. Check it out. Perfect for evenings, perfect for nights. Does everything that that you wanted to do. The other thing I want to say to you is that, you know, sometimes because you've been in the fragrance game for such a long time, you come across fragrances that are, you know, have similar notes or in a similar vein or gives you that similar vibe. Quite frankly, I have to say that for La Nuit de l'Homme, I have not smelt anything that smells similar to this, right? Like, I can't say it's within the same, obviously the flankers and whatnot from Yves Saint Laurent, but besides that, outside of that, I think it's really hard to find a fragrance that smells like La Nuit de l'Homme, which speaks to the uniqueness of this fragrance. It's been a staple. It's a classic at this point in time within the fragrance community. This is Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit de l'Homme. Okay, so this is my favorite underrated house. If you have not checked it out, I talk about it a lot. It is overdue for an actual review. Because I just keep putting them on lists because they're so amazing. This is Este Dupont's Perfect Tobacco, right? And tobacco notes, there's a lot of them out there, right? Lots of tobacco notes. A lot of the fragrances that I mentioned have tobacco in them as well. You know, just look at, you know, the details on this fragrance. I'm always amazed by how well Este Dupont does with their fragrances. You get tobacco, a little bit of leather, amber, and just generally a very pleasing, excellent tobacco fragrance. This is Este Dupont's Perfect Tobacco. And the thing is, with Este Dupont, this is one of 2 on this list. But if you are checking out this house, remember, most people have never heard of this fragrance. Most people will not be wearing this. Everyone's going to be wearing your 1 millions. They're going to be wearing Eros. They're going to be wearing all of those scents. You want to stand out. You want your confidence level, your sex appeal to be all the way up here, right? You don't want it to be average. And these fragrances, especially from Este Dupont, because no one else will be wearing them, definitely check them out. This is Perfect Tobacco. So this next fragrance, I've done a video on other fragrances that smell like this, because this is the opposite of like the concept of Este Dupont, because many people wear this fragrance, and for good reason, right? So I would say this fragrance would be the perfect office or signature sexy scent, right? Because it just draws people in, gets you the compliments, boosts your confidence, does all of the right things. I've had this for a long time, and someone else has commented on how dark the juice is. This is Molecule 01. I did this video way back when as well. Someone said that the juice is dark, and I said, well, it's macerated over a good 6-7 years now. But this is Molecule 01. If you just want a simple scent, listen, you're not a complicated person. You don't want to be buying 10-15 fragrances. You just want one fragrance that does everything for you. The only downside of this is that if you may not smell it on yourself, but people will definitely smell it on you. Cedar, ISO E Super basically is what's in this bottle, but honestly one of the best fragrances ever created, because of what it does in terms of sex appeal, in terms of sexiness, in terms of confidence. This is Molecule 01. The next fragrance is, I'm not a big fan of this note. However, because it was so well made, because it was, usually when I get this note, the note is honey. It's a honey note. Usually when the honey note, when I smell it, like in Honey Oud in Montal, it's overwhelming for me, right? I don't like it. It's too sickly sweet. However, I want to say that they did an excellent job. And I'm quite unsure what's going on with this company because they released one fragrance and that was it. But you can find this sometimes at discounters and they used to have it. I bought this way back when. They used to have it on their website where you get a shower gel and a couple of other products with it. This is 1821's Man-Made Sweet Tobacco, right? What a great fragrance in terms of tobacco, in terms of honey. It's this real combination of both of those elements that really stand out in a fragrance, makes you quite unique, makes you stand out in a room, just because of how good this is. Yeah, the opening is still sweet. Like it still puts me off a little bit, but man, after a minute or so, you know, it dissipates and it's a great fragrance. Also wears extremely well with like a suit. If you're going out in the evening, if you're going for a date, this would be perfect for those situations. This is 1821 Man-Made Sweet Tobacco. I'm going to give you an oud fragrance because that's just how you roll. Sometimes you need an oud fragrance. Actually, you know what? I don't know. This isn't, to be legit with you guys, it's not really an oud fragrance per se. I've spoken about this fragrance many a times. I've made a video about it. I've dedicated a lot of time to this fragrance because of how I think it is a great fragrance because it fills a vacuum, right? So I've spoken about oud wood, and you can check out my video about oud wood. Poor performance on the current batch. I had the old batch, whatever, right? Check the video out, you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you are looking for a fragrance that is very reminiscent of the older batch, I would recommend Agave Précieux by Zoha Aroma. This has, you know, rosewood, pepper, sandalwood, vanilla, cardamom, all of the elements that you would smell out of the original oud wood. You can find them in here, at least to my nose. And from all the inspirations that I've smelled of oud wood, this is by far the closest. This is a fragrance which exudes confidence, it exudes sexiness, it exudes someone who is in charge and who has presence. This is Agave Précieux by Zoha Aroma. My next fragrance from Este Dupont. I really like the note of vanilla. I have yet to make a video about my favorite vanillas, but when I do, it will be on there. And this is Este Dupont's Vanilla and Leather. See that? Yeah, vanilla and leather. Whew. Okay. Yeah, just very nice, well blended vanilla with leather, spices, and you know, it's just very nice. Look, vanillas are a dime a dozen. You can find them in every house, but it's really what they tailor with the vanilla that matters, right? We care about what's in the bottle. So the vanilla in here is so well blended with the tobacco, with the spices. You don't get that sickly sweet cupcake type of vanilla. I'm not here for that. But when you have a vanilla like this, it's very impressive. A note about vanilla is that many women love the scent of vanilla, right? So this is definitely a crowd pleaser, tons of compliments, something that men and women alike on both sides of the aisle will enjoy. This is Vanilla Leather by Este Dupont. This next fragrance, I've spoken about it a little bit on my channel. This is one of my two favorite fragrances from the Dior line. This is not Dior Intense, this is Dior Homme Parfum, right? This is the older batch. I've seen videos about newer batches that they're quite similar. So anyways, Dior Homme Parfum, I did not like Dior Homme Intense because that lipstick vibe was too much for my nose. But Dior Homme Parfum is really for the manly man, right? This is for the executive, the CEO. This is for when you really need to make an impression. This will boost your confidence, your sex appeal, your sexiness, all in one bottle, right? This is on all levels. From the time you spray it till the time it dries down 12, 15 hours later, you're gonna make an impression with Dior Homme Parfum. It gets all the elements of Dior Homme Intense, lowers down, reduces the lipstick vibe, gets amped up leather, a bit of oud in there. Really, there's not much that needs to be said about this fragrance that hasn't been already. Honestly, this is Dior Homme Parfum. If you don't have this in your collection, a little bit harder to find, but if you can try it out, I definitely recommend checking Dior Homme Parfum. Okay, so this is one of the last fragrance on my list. I've had this fragrance for a long time and it shows, and it's really a special fragrance because it's one of those fragrances that I bought very, very, very early on in my journey when it was still available at the Bay, right? So this is circa 2009, 2008. I have 3-4 backup bottles of this because I love it so much, because of what it does. This is Mcglaze Pure Malt. You can see this is one of my older bottles and I'm trying not to use it because this is the older batch. I would say there isn't quite a big variation between the newer batches and the older batches, but I just like this fragrance because it has a lot of memories. Okay, so just in terms of sexiness, this is it, right? For me, this is the top tier fragrance. This is Pure Malt. Obviously, it has the elements of the original Amen with malt. Very nice, beautiful, extremely well blended, extremely unique. No one's going to be wearing this. No one is going to be smelling like this. You are going to have presence. You're going to stand out in a room. You're going to have the utmost sexiness that you can think about in this fragrance because that's just what it does, right? This is Pure Malt. It's been in the fragrance game for a long time. A lot of people don't mention it because it's quite, it's released in, I don't know, like 2008, 9 or something. So a lot of people don't have this fragrance. We care about what's in the bottle. This is the utmost sexy bottle juice, whatever you want to call it. This is it right here, right? So if you have not tried Pure Malt, I have Pure Wood and Pure Havane, but honestly, all of those, they don't do for me what Pure Malt does, right? So those are great fragrances, but this is an excellent fragrance, right? This is top tier fragrance for me. Check out Pure Malt. Listen, thank you so much for watching. If you have some recommendations, listen, sexiness can be a variety of things. Maybe I focus too much on like the darker fragrances and not so much the lighter ones. Either way, let me know in the comments below what is your favorite sexy fragrance, what builds your confidence, what makes you stand out in a room, what makes you feel invincible. Tell me those fragrances. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to know. So other people can we can all delve into it. We can check them out. And I will catch you on the next one.